Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. How are we?
Doing good. We already have a whole list of hellos from, would you like to know where?
Yes, please.
Sunny Cincinnati, good alliteration. Windy, warm Omaha. Aurora, Colorado, Pennsylvania, Cleveland, Ohio, and Thessaloniki, Greece. I'm on vacation from Beth Mills.
Ooh,
Beth Thomas
really?
is here. Hi. There's some more friends. New Jersey. We just got them all over.
Love. I
Yeah.
love that. Who's in Greece, Beth?
Beth Mills.
Wow. Mm, I wish I was in Greece right now.
Me
Eating
too.
some saganaki. Yum. Hi everyone. How are you? Lainey Grace and I are here to talk about books Galley Gab Fest in the month of October. How is it October, you guys? I don't know.
It's kind of scaring me, which means like soon it's gonna be 2025, and that feels
Bakers.
crazy.
Oh man. Well, we're glad that people are joining and tuning in to hear what we have to talk about. Um, so we're each going to talk about a couple of books. We'll just kind of mix them up and go along. Have questions, write them in the chat box, and we'll answer them. And I don't know, what else do we need to tell people?
Hmm.
We're going to mention Library Journal's Day of Dialogue at the end. Hope you're all going to attend. We'll put some information up at the end. We have lots of authors coming, and we have our booth, which is super cool. So yeah, that's a really fun day. And lots of resources and galleys and all that stuff. So we hope that you can all go. Anything else? Is this our first
Um,
Galley Gab Fest in a while? I don't know.
yeah.
We took the summer off and then we said we'd start back with the fall. Because
Hmm.
September we had our big presentation through Library Journal. So we kind of got a lot of galleys in there.
Yeah.
And if you didn't see that and you want to know about things coming up, that's live on Library Journal's site. So you can get even more books there.
Can we put something in the link
Mhm.
or a link in the link holder?
Yeah.
Oh, we
All
also
right. Well,
had book
it's
club
go ahead. I'm sorry,
snug.
Grace.
Oh
What'd
no,
you say?
I was just gonna say we had our book club snug. I don't know why that was not coming out correctly. With Team W for the Author's Guide to Murder, end of August. So that's also on our YouTube and other sites that you can check out.
Yeah, that was a great interview. The three of them, Lauren Willig and Beatrice Williams and Karen White. Is that right? Did I get that right? Pretty good.
Mhm.
Talking about this book and how they all, a murder takes place in this castle in Scotland. And it's so fun to listen to the three of them talk about it and how they wrote this together. And they're all they do is talk about writing and drinking wine. And it was super fun to listen to them. Anyway, we're not drinking wine, although yes, we could, but we should probably just talk about the books and not drink wine. It's been yeah.
I mean, maybe one day we can do both.
Listen, I'm going to put it out there right now. I've always wanted to, as you know, um, have an it can't be anything with Harper because we'll just all get fired. But one day it would be super fun if we had our own separate thing and we talked about books and we drank and we called it Buzzed. Nobody steal it. One day, one
Yeah,
day we'll
I do
do it.
like drunk history,
Like
but
Drunk History.
do the whole book. That'd be like it could be a really like popular book too. That'd be
It would
hilarious.
be
That could be ours.
hilarious. It would be
Yeah.
You know
hilarious.
what?
We
Maybe
would love
Virginia
to
will
do it.
invite everybody to her apartment and we can just do it from there.
Fine, fine. Just let me get my world together and one day soon we'll do that. That would be super fun.
Well, the thing with Charlotte's Web is
It's
love.
about a spider. Okay. All right. Let's 206. We're gonna stop at 3. We're gonna talk about books. And are there more people coming on, or is anybody saying anything about Buzzed? Please don't
Um,
steal it.
yeah, all here for that. And cheers. Somebody said that we can come to their house in Colorado. We could go
Fine.
there.
I
Oh,
thought
and
I
are
wanted
they
to
at
go
a
to
high
Colorado.
elevation? Because then we'd really be
Yeah.
whacked. That'd
Less
be
alcohol to
super
buy.
fun. I am all
Um,
for that.
Someone did is having issues with audio, so please everybody else let me know if you're having an issue. If not, just a reminder, Chrome works best. go clear your cache and your history and refresh Chrome and it should work. And let me know if that's more than a 1 or 2 off thing and it's a grander issue in the comments. But I think people are responding, so I think we're good.
Okay. All right. To be continued, this idea about coming over, we'll come to Astoria, we'll do it on our offshoot, not associated with HarperCollins. We'll just talk about HarperCollins books. And that'll be so much fun. And the wine will flow. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh God, it's so hot in here. Okay. Okay, it is, and I want to turn my fan on, but then every time I turn my fan on, you guys are like, can't hear you over the fan. I'm turn it off a little bit.
We
Okay.
could try, yeah.
All right. Oh, all right, I'm ready. You
I
guys
think,
ready?
yeah, I can hear you. So
You can? We got to
yeah,
keep you
no.
on. Let's start showing slides.
Ooh. Is everyone excited for Summer in the City by Alex Astor? We are. This is Alex Astor's first adult book. Alex is a #1 New York Times bestselling and internationally bestselling author of YA books. But this one is adult and it's adult. I think, if you had a mature reader, it'd probably be okay, but just read before. But it is an adult book, and we're excited to have her existing fans come to this read, but make some new ones. I have to admit, oh, that's the big reveal in the city. They blew up this big cover and put it on the street, and as you can see, it has these beautiful stenciled edges. And you can read that post by Alex Astor. I mean, how perfectly coordinated is that outfit? It's wild. And Grace, what did you say about the taxi cam?
I was just like, that's the perfect shot. I was like, I wonder if they like made someone park there. I'm sure they didn't, and the photographer was just really good, but that is like it's so New York, it's very,
It's so
very New York.
Yeah, I agree. It's a cool one. So these will be deluxe limited editions for the hardcover. There also is one without the stenciled edges as well. So those are 2 different ISBNs, which has been a whole interesting learning curve for me for what ISBN to use, but that's good to know. So like I said, if you're not fans, I have to admit I had never read their work for YA. So this was my first entry point in this book, and it was just such a fun romp with like a lot of heart, and it really reminded me a lot of like a Nora Ephron movie. It has this romance kind of on the side, but the city's a character. It's all about the love of New York. So in the book, the couple goes to like a checklist of everything in the city that they want to see and things that I affectionately think, oh, I remember going there first time, or that was fun, or some that I didn't even know about. And so that it really was that, but that is not the whole of the book. It's really about this character who is a 27-year-old screenwriter, and she has this chance of a lifetime to write this big budget movie. And it's set in New York City, but she has writer's block. So she comes to the city in summer. Wonder why that title's there. And is house sitting and in this really kind of swanky apartment, thinking, this is the perfect condition for me to write this movie because I'm so passionate about it. And instead just cannot write anything. And then in the past, we kind of see this story at the beginning of the book. She had met this billionaire kind of bachelor, Parker is his name, and they had met before at this party, and it didn't go well. They didn't make a good first impression, but they both kind of can't stop thinking of each other. And so we have this like lovers, enemies to lovers, but I think in the copy it says like lovers to enemies to lovers. It goes back and forth. But and so they, of course, live right next to each other. And so you get to see them come together throughout the book and hang out and do all this stuff on her checklist to kind of get her back in this writing headspace. And he obviously has his story as well, and I don't usually read a lot of billionaire romances. I don't usually pick them up. This one was so I don't know. I haven't read a ton of them, but I thought this was just so well done because it goes into the layers below. And there's also a lot of conversation around not being stuck in a love story, like making it on your own. And so when you kind of see these tropes playing out, you're like, yeah, of course this is gonna happen. But then the main character is like, no, I'm gonna make it on my own. And so you kind of get more of a realistic timeline for things. And I thought that that was really conscious and beautiful too. But at the end of the day, you get a really nice love story as well. I don't know. Overall, it was just like so delightful and lots of heart behind it, and you'll want to come to the city and do everything on their checklist when you read it. But I think that's everything. Adult debut, stenciled edges, super fun.
Virginia, I think you're muted.
Boom! Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You should have heard me cursing before I took the microphone off. Anyway, I've had such problems with my computer today. Anyway, what I was saying was, I love this book. I love this book so much. The In-Between Bookstore by Edward Underhill. You probably have heard me talk about this book. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't stop talking about it at ALA. It is it's such a different kind of a book. Edward Underhill this is his first adult novel. He is the author of two, I'm just giving you a little background, just so you know. He's the author of two young adult books. We did not publish those. He wrote Always the Almost, which got him a starred review in PW, was a YALSA Best Fiction for Young Adults selection, and a Kids Indie Next pick, and a 17 Magazine's Most Anticipated young adult book. That got a ton of airplay. And then his second book, The Day Changes Everything, which came out on February 24, 3 starred reviews and the same kind of great acclaim, just like lots of attention. This man can write. And this, the In-Between Bookstore, is his adult debut, and just adore it. It's about a trans man who is living in New York. He grew up in Illinois, and he moves to New York, and he's about 30 years old, just about to be 30. And he's been laid off. He's got this crappy little, very tiny apartment, and he just is sort of hitting a wall. And he thinks he should go back home, to his mom and just kind of like get himself together. And his friends are like, why are you doing that? You left there to come here to get it together and start your life. And he understands that, but he just feels like he's got to go back. Nothing's working out. And so they're not happy with him, but he goes. He packs everything up. It doesn't take long, and off he goes. And when he goes back home, he sees that things aren't really the same. His mother is selling the house where they grew up. She's moving to some, community. And things have changed. And so he's the only thing that is still there where he finds some things where he used to find refuge is this bookstore where he worked when he was in high school. And so he goes there, and when he does, he sees the person working behind the desk, the cash register, who kind of it resembles him in some way. And so when he ultimately goes into the bookstore, all the bestsellers in the front are 2009 bestsellers. And he's like, what going on? And then he goes to like the travel section, and it's all, they update the travel books all the time. It's all 2009. And he has slipped through time, and he comes face to face with his pre-transition teenage self. That's what happens when he goes into the bookstore. When he comes back out, it's present day. And so he's just doesn't understand what's happening. And that's the premise of this book is that. And the question is, if you had one chance to talk to your younger self, would you? And what would you say? So that's the bones of this book. The joy is in the read. He's left a childhood friend behind. They didn't end well. That person is still there. So that's a big factor into the story. Um, it's it's really so different. And I'm not a time travel kind of a person. Whenever you guys hear me talking about books, it's never that. And it doesn't, and I love this book. I love this book. If it's just woven seamlessly. And so if you think, I don't like trust me, it's so, so good. So you've got a Midwest town, an only child in the family. He's returned from the big city. He's got an estranged childhood best friend. And this independent bookstore where he found refuge. And it's just beautiful. Some great quotes. Jodi Picoult. What would you tell your teen self if you go back in time? Underhill's tender, innovative debut is the smartest take on this trope I've ever read. And for the record, I read it in a single setting, a beautiful, thoughtful study of how we find our truest selves and whom we choose to trust with that gift. There are more. I won't read them, but they're there. Stephen Rowley, who wrote Gunkel, Gail Forman. It's just wonderful. So please do yourself a favor and pick up The In-Between Bookstore by Edward Underhill, who is lovely and came to ALA, and I fangirled all over him. In-Between Bookstore goes on sale January 14th.
Okay. Our next book is called Didn't You Used to Be Queenie Bee by Terry Lynn DeFino. She was the author of Verena Palladino's Jersey Italian Love Story. And we had her on one of our Facebook Lives, I believe in 2022, because I remember it was like right after I started at Harper. It was one of the first books I read for work. And that was just such a really cute, delightful book about, complicated family dynamics. And she just has the knack for writing about families and interpersonal relationships. And I'm really, really excited for this one. And I think if you loved The Bear, this is definitely a good novel for you to pick up. So this book is about a woman named Regina, and she's known as Queenie Bee. She's a culinary superstar in Michelin restaurants and a best-selling author of cookbooks and has a multi-million-dollar TV deal. And I always think of people like Rachel Ray or Ina Garten. And if you have a favorite like TV chef, let us know. And things are going really well for her until they aren't. We all know how quickly celebrities can fall from fame, and that's exactly what happens to Queenie Bee. She retreats from the spotlight. She ditches her life, including her husband, her kid, and everything that she worked really hard for. And no one knows where she is or what she's up to. But her reruns are still on TV. Her restaurant is still a dining hotspot, but no one knows where she is for quite some time. And then we meet Gail, who's a line cook, and he has not had it easy. He recently got sober, and like many people, he's only focused on getting by. He's broke at the end of the week, living paycheck to paycheck, and goes to a soup kitchen. And it's in this rough part of New Haven, Connecticut, and definitely the food there is not soup kitchen level of quality. It's exceptional, even gourmet. And the owner is none other than Regina, aka Queenie Bee. And Gail has no idea who she is. It's been a decade since anyone has seen her. And she has slipped into this curated life of privacy. But she quickly realizes his talent and struggles, and she decides to make him into her protege. And he ignites something in her, this passion that had faded after her fall from grace. And when he gets the opportunity to be on a cooking show, everything really changes. It's this really beautiful story, redemption and hope, and I think it's really well done. Terry Lynn has a really personal connection to the book. She was inspired by her sons, one who is a professional chef and one who didn't survive his opioid addiction. And I think it really, comes through her personal connection in this book. And I really hope you get the chance to read it. And on top of a great story, there's also recipes included in the book. So that's just a really nice bonus for sure. Okay. And our next book, I'm gonna pass it off to Lainey.
Just to do a quick pause and check in on our comments. Virginia, somebody said, let's see, we got the audio thing worked out, but someone, where did it go? They said, if anyone else uses Buzz, we know where they stole it. It's officially on record. And then they said it may be hot there, but you're the coolest person we know, Virginia. Oh, you're muted, but I think you're loving all of the
Who's saying
comments.
that? What nice person is saying that? I'll pay you later.
Oh, I don't know where it went. Let's
It's okay.
see. But yeah, everybody's just super excited for Edward Underhill, and someone said already voting for Library Reads, I think is
I hope so. Yeah,
um
you'll have to get those votes in by December 1 if you care to download, read, love, and vote. Download, read, love, and vote. We can make a song out of that.
and Lillian's already talking about Frankie, so I guess I'll get going. But
Oh,
they're just some
get,
fun
yeah, cool.
fun
Thanks,
comments.
everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let me get to my nerves. So Frankie, okay, I almost passed out when I interviewed Graham Norton for ALA, and that was such a cool conversation. I don't know how someone as famous has the time with all the things he does, but he also is you might know him from the Graham Norton show, or he's an actor, he's been in several things, comedian, he co-hosts Eurovision on this radio show. He's just all over the place. I don't know how he has time to write books, but he actually writes really amazing novels. And we had him on to talk to ALA. His sister is a librarian, and it was a really great conversation for the Passbook Homestretch. And when I saw that we had Frankie coming, because the UK, the book usually comes out a little earlier, so he was doing post and press for that. And I immediately wrote to people here and said, I see we have another book. Why is that not in my inbox right now? And so we got the rights, and we're going to publish Frankie. So I'm so excited. It's just gotten so many great quotes too. I mean, Bonnie Gormus, from the author of Lessons in Chemistry, gave it a quote. It's getting such good acclaim overseas. And this is, classic Graham Norton. It has a lot of soul in these pages. He's witty and funny, but it's not a funny book. You're not like uproarious laughter, but it's just so witty and understated in a way that's really beautiful. He's a great writer, and usually it's about people who um maybe feel a little left behind by society, and maybe it's their coming in of age in their own right. But this is about a woman named Frankie, and she has not ever taken center stage. Like I said, they're usually a little on the outskirts. Um, and life has kind of judged her harshly. She's had a rough life. She's lost her parents, and she went to live with an aunt and uncle who are very, religious. And so she marries young, and that doesn't always work out. And it goes on from there. I won't ruin the story, but she has had an interesting life, and she's kind of revisiting it when Damien, who's this young Irish caretaker, comes to her London flat to take care of her, and they connect over their Irish accents. And so she starts opening up and telling him about her life when a memory is sparked. And so we have her friend coming in to check on her, thinking, you never tell anyone these stories. Why are you telling this young kid about your life? And she's like, I don't know, it's just all coming to me. So we go from post-war Ireland in the 60s to New York, and then we see these larger than life characters and what they're going through, and chance encounters as they collide. But you see her find her place in this world, and I mean, even maybe not find her place in some of these worlds. The story is, it's not, I don't want to say sweet. There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. She's been through a hard part of her life, but I think what's really sweet is this relationship as she's coming to realizations as she's telling her life story. Um, I don't know. Graham Norton does such different books. All of his books are very different. We have like a mystery with a local sleuth, or we have a man who's extra by his family and comes to New York and finds about identity. And then we have this one book about a woman whose home is taken from her, and she has to kind of solve a small mystery to get it back. And then this is this woman going back and forth in time. They're so different, but he's just so talented. He does it so well. And if you've never read him, I hope you dive in because I was just shocked because you never know. It's a celebrity. You get these books and they stand on their own right. They're beautiful reads. And if you don't believe me, believe Bonnie Warmus, who said, "Warm and wise, Frankie is a woman worth getting to know." Um, I don't know. I'm so excited that we are continuously working with Graham Norton because he's delightful. He also came in the office in Virginia. I got to meet him, and it was like the greatest day of my life. But he's so sweet. Yeah.
It was really so sweet because he was like, Lainey, Lainey. It was really
Yeah.
sweet because
Yeah,
it was, listen, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you can put the link in there to that conversation or not. I bet
I
you
don't
could.
think
We can't, we're not allowed to.
It's hidden from all. Yeah, they told us. I don't know. Maybe
Well,
just to our closest 500 friends.
yes, that's it. We'll
Okay, we'll
find a
put it
way.
on Crowdcast, so you have to register with Crowdcast to come see it. Want to say that?
You know what? It was a wonderful interview and it's all of it benefits that book. And it was really like two pals sitting around talking like they had known each other for forever. And it was lovely. It was a great conversation. And, he talks to a million people and he knew you as soon as we walked in that room. I mean, they see you and then they're gone and but he remembered you because that was a really in-depth, wonderful conversation about him, his writing, Ireland, his sister, the book, all of it. It was just lovely. So we'll double check that we can and then we'll put it in something. Don't you think?
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
We'll
You never,
find out. We'll find
the
out.
person we could ask is probably not there, so I don't know if that helps our decision. But, well, why not we can send it if we find out we can share it, we'll send an email through Crowdcast if you're registered. So make sure you're registered on Crowdcast if you want an update.
Yeah. If you're a Graham Norton fan, you're going to love it. And if you haven't read that book, after watching that interview, you're going to want to read that book and then you're going to want to read Frankie.
Yeah. Yeah. And go back. I went back and read all this stuff for this interview. And I truly, I say that about some people where I'm like, I don't know, I have time. I truly don't know how he has time. He's all over the place. His bio was like this long. It's like, how do you write these books? And they're beautiful. And they're always about the human condition. They're always about, and a lot of the time women. But it's cool. And always like small Irish, I asked him, and you'll hear in the interview if you get to see it, but I asked him, why not, celebrity, all of these larger than life people in Hollywood, why not write about them? And he's like, that's not what I'm interested in. I want the bones. I want to know people in small towns. And he's like, secrets abound there. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. All right. What's next? Chloe, Connie Briscoe, do you love that jacket? Is that not beautiful?
It's stunning. I remember when they showed this to us, I gasped. Like I kind of want like a poster of it.
I know. That's a great idea. Um, Connie Briscoe is such a wonderful writer. I'm hoping most of you know her by now. She is an author of romantic and historical fiction. She's been writing for over 3 decades, New York Times bestseller. Her Sisters and Lovers, Big Girls Don't Cry, just a huge backlist of really beautiful books and just sort of like page turners and head scratchers. And I just love the way she writes. I did an interview with her for her last book. And this book, Chloe, this is an updated Rebecca, Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. And it's a domestic suspense, and it's centered on a woman named Angel who marries a billionaire, only to discover that he remains haunted by his first wife who took her own life. Or did she? Anyway, so you've got this mansion that's haunted by the ghost of a cool, charismatic first wife, a second bride, from a small southern town who may be in over her head, and then this brooding billionaire, he's not a very happy fellow, who grows icier the more his new wife questions him about the past. So this is just one of those great reimaginings, with a little bit of a twist. And it's just so much fun. It's great. It's a great book club book. It's got great commercial appeal. It's, she delivers, upmarket women's fiction that just has a wide appeal, and mystery and suspense. She's right in that column with, like Stacey Abrams' White Justice Leaves Taryn Hall, as the Wicked Watch, Alyssa Cole. So you have to think that too. In 2020, USA Today listed her on their list of 100 Black novelists you should read. And she's just so wonderful at clever dialogue and great setting, and you don't know what's coming until it's right in front of you. And I really enjoy her a lot, and I have for over the years. So I don't know, the joy is in the read, but you get the idea. It's just really, really fun. Is that me again?
Is.
Doing havoc?
Yeah.
Am I creating havoc?
I was gonna say, you're wreaking havoc?
Grace had the idea. I think it was Grace. I don't remember. It was so long ago. It was 20 minutes ago. That we should that we should dress up like the books we're presenting.
I think
And
that
I
was
thought-
Lainey, but that's a good idea.
Was it
love
Lainey? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Lainey. Lainey had this great idea that we should dress up like the books we're presenting. So I thought for Havoc, I could just like run around in a circle and mess up my hair. I don't know. But next time, I think we'll do it. Grace wants to talk about Halloween costumes. I don't have one, but I think Grace wants to talk about it because she has a Halloween costume she wants
We'll
to tell
get
us
there.
about.
We'll get there.
All right. Okay. My last book, Havoc, by Christopher Bolin. He's the author of several bestsellers. The Destroyers, Orient, which was so good. The Lost Americans, Beautiful Crime. This is a really neat story that is in the vein of The Bad Seed, and it's a little bit of a departure from what he's written before. It is a cat. Well, let me tell you what Library Journal says. They got a star review from Booklist. Library Journal calls it a cat and mouse psychological thriller set in a sprawling hotel located on the banks of the Nile. The cat might be 81-year-old Maggie Burkhart, a meddlesome fixer. The mouse might be 8-year-old Otto, son of the mournful Tessa, or it might be the other way around. Okay, so first of all, I have to tell you that I got an email from the editor of this book. I love her books. I love what she buys. And she said, I wanted to reach out to you because I am so, in caps, so head over heels for the new Chris Bolin book. It is the perfect fast read that I have an absolute compulsion to get it into the hands of everyone I admire. I don't know if I guess she admires me. Anyway, that wasn't my point. My point is that when an editor is, really just so crazy and excited and was like, read it. I got to, and it's amazing. I mean, it's, the two main characters are, 70 years apart, and it's a little creepy. So it's a psychological suspense about this elderly lady who is in this very decadent luxury hotel. And she is 81, and she has come to escape. She's come to this hotel, the Royal Carnac, but she's escaping not in the way that most of the other guests are who are relaxing at this hotel. She's a fixer, and she might have found herself in hot water at the last hotel she stayed in Switzerland, and she might just had to have gotten out of that hotel really fast. So there's a trend. So now she's here, and she's got this great suite, and she's friends with the manager, and she's got some friends there, and she gets grief for she's just lost her late husband, and she's just this sweet little old lady, or is she? One day she sees this young woman who is at check-in, and she's got this little 8-year-old kid with her son Otto. And right away, Maggie wants to help them and invites them into her world, but it's not long before she realizes that in her longing to be part of their family, she has possibly let in an arch enemy much stronger than she bargained for. That is the scrawny, homely Otto, with whom she has finally met her match. It's twisty, it gets under your skin, kind of a little bit like Hitchcock. It's not exactly a locked room mystery, but it unfolds in the halls and gardens of this grand old dusty hotel. And it is reminiscent of a classic like The Shining. And it's great for book clubs. It touches on things like the nature of a happy marriage, guilt, toxic family dynamics, all of that. So if you read Tangerine, which was an amazing book, which we published, and I love that book so much, or Patricia Highsmith, this is the book for you. It's atmospheric. As I say, Booklist gave it a starred review, instantly absorbing. Fans of Helene Turstein's Elderly Lady will love this. Reality warping psychological thrillers with delight in this twisty original. So I think you got the idea on this one. And I just love the juxtaposition of the 81-year-old and the 8-year-old. And you have to figure out she's got a backstory and he's a little twisty too. So what's going on? You got to read it and find out.
So grandmother, grandchild, Halloween costume, done.
Oh, why didn't I think of that? Next time.
Our next book is An African History of Africa, and we all know that the history of Africa has been dominated and told by colonizers through Western narratives and stories of slavery, if it's talked about at all. And this book, An African History of Africa, fills that need for a history of this continent told by somebody from the continent. So I was just really excited when I saw this. Was going to be on our list. And our author, Zainab, was born in Sudan and is the president of the University of London School of Oriental and African Studies. She's an award-winning broadcaster, journalist, and filmmaker. I cannot think of anybody more qualified to write this. And she wrote this book after 7 years of travel throughout 30 African countries, where she interviewed academics and locals about the culture and history of where they live. And it's deeply researched, but it's accessible, entertaining, sweeping, epic, and all of the wonderful words about how like broad this the scope is cast here. And it starts, from the origins of our species to ancient civilizations, medieval empires, conquest, and independence. This is really the book on the history of Africa. And academic and public librarians should take note of this one, particularly those who have patrons that are interested in macro history books or even social history. I think the way she uses interviews makes it very personal, instead of, some books can be a little more sterile when they're, tackling such a huge topic. But this one is definitely has that narrative to it as well. So it's already an international bestseller, and we're excited to bring it to an American audience. And we have some great quotes rolling in, but here's one of them. Zainab's remarkable new book lives up to her dependable standards of excellence. It takes the reader on an up-close and personal journey across this unique continent, seemingly holding your hand while uncovering extraordinary gems of truth as she allows previously untold stories to be heard. And that was said by Margaret Busby, the editor of Daughters of Africa. So that was a really exciting one. Again, if you have patrons who are very much into macro history, I really suggest putting this one in your library. And we'll go on to the next one, which is Lainey.
Tis me. Okay. I have another great read. If you're like me and you were upset, well, maybe still are, but we're obsessed with Bones. It's one of my favorite shows. And I'm always so intrigued by, mystery shows, but this other element of, Kathy Reich's writing from knowledge. She's a forensic anthropologist. And so this is in that vein. So when I heard about it, I was so excited because I need to fill that hole in my heart. And this is by Clea Koff. It's the Jane and Silly series, book 1. So it's at the beginning. We have some more coming. The author is a major forensic crime thriller writer, but she's also a renowned forensic anthropologist. She was born in England, raised in Tanzania, and Kenya and the US, and she's a member of the first international forensic team brought together by the UN in 96 to investigate evidence of war crimes and crimes against humanity in Rwanda after the genocide. The Bone Woman was her memoir about this work, and she's got so many awards. She's awarded the Nancy Human Rights Book Prize in France, and she has a nonprofit Missing Persons Identification Resource Center. I mean, this is a cool person in general, but to write a crime series, again, how do you have the time? I need to know how to get more time in my day because I'm not writing these crazy books that are amazing. But so this author knows what they're talking about, and the world experience. So in this book, we have Jane and Steely. They are, specialists and friends. They have forensic skills and they help police solve crimes. And when a bundle of frozen body parts, I know, very spooky, falls off a van on an LA freeway, an FBI agent knows just where to go to get kind of an off the record postmortem. And to everyone's horror, they quickly determine that the parts aren't from one body, but multiple bodies. So, serial killers on the loose, and the FBI agent has to put both of Jane and Steely's lives in jeopardy, as they use their unique skills to really unmask this killer, and maybe the killer's coming for them. I mean, if you like Kathy Rice or Patricia Cornwell, like, this is up your alley, and like I said, we have 2 more books coming in winter 26 and 27, so it's exciting. This book was previously published somewhere else, and so we're kind of jumping off for these next books in the series. So you can start here. I don't know. Like I said, I love a thrilling read with someone writing it who knows their stuff, and it always comes in through the read. And that one is out in January, so you have a little bit.
Okay, our final book, Who is Hungry for a Delicious Read? I just realized that now 2 of my books are about food, although you probably won't find this one very appetizing, so I hope you already ate lunch. This is The Lamb. Look at that gorgeous, appetizing cover. I was so excited when they showed this one to us. So this book, it's a tale about a mother and daughter who live in a cottage in the woods, which is a lot of people's dream post-COVID, and mine as well. But this is not one of those cottagecore cozy stories. Well, it's atmospheric, but Margot and her mother, when Margot's not in school, wait for strays to wander into the woods. Mama calls them this because they ventured too far off of the road. And she's a very generous host. Mama loves strays. She welcomes them in. She feeds them, gives them wine, keeps a fire going so they're warm. She's giving them dinner before they become her dinner. And this is a story about cannibalism, but it's so much more than that. It's the main point is a beautiful stray shows up in the middle of winter, and Mama takes a liking to her, and her daughter has to face an impending change and grapple with her own wants and desires. And I'm being purposely vague about this because it is such a fantastic read. And if you're like me and you love cannibalism stories like Yellow Jackets, I think this is, especially with the LGBTQ angle, fans of Yellow Jackets are really going to like this one. Fans of Bones and All and Tender as the Flesh. It sounds outlandish, but cannibalism is having a moment. In The Lamb, it is used to dissect like how women swallow their anger, desire, and primal instincts. It's really beautifully written, literary and atmospheric, and we've been calling it a folktale, a horror story, a love story, an enchantment. And we've been getting a lot of praise for this one. One of the author of Bright I Burn, Molly Aitken, says, "This is a book I've been waiting for, dark, twisted, and utterly enthralling. The Lamb is a novel I will never forget. Lucy Rose's prose gave me chills, perfectly capturing the horrors and beauties of girlhood. Dear reader, I predict you will be as obsessed as me." So it's a really great coming of age story, and I've been really excited about it. And I feel like that's why I want everyone to say, like, what are you being for Halloween? What spooky plans do you have? Please put it in the chat. I would love to know.
Well done. Sounds like a rare read.
Lady was like, I'm cooking that one up.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was our last book. I would, again, if you are doing something fun for Halloween, I'm being a cannibal soccer player from Yellow Jackets for one of my costumes. So, I'm really selling this book for you. We Earlier when Lainey made that joke about how we should dress up as the books, I thought about Lady Gaga's meat dress for Lamb. And yeah, that was just the first thing that popped into mind. But
What's holding you back?
I don't know. I think walking into office wearing a ton of meat, like I think I would get fired.
There is a beef shortage.
Well,
I don't even know what to say to any of this craziness. So I don't know. I can't even think. I mean, I was thinking about being a bookstore and you're gonna walk around like, pieces of meat hanging off your head. I don't know, Grace. If anybody can pull it off, you can. For a hot minute at one point, we I don't know if anybody remembers this, probably not, because I think after a while people were like, it's not very tasteful. But we were doing these things where we would like try to try like put a couple pieces of meat if for book clubs, like if it was really chewy, if it was like a really chewy book, we put like several pieces of like, lamb chops or something. I know, I thought it was funny. And people were like, well, what is that? I'm like, that shows how the intensity of the chewiness of the read. And they're like, stop being you. Anyway, fine. All right.
it's like the chili peppers for how like spicy a read is,
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
get the vision.
Thank you. Maybe we'll resurrect that. All the ideas that were ever stomped on, we're just gonna get drunk, do buzzed, and throw a bunch of meat at each other.
That could be interesting. What about gum, sticks of gum, chewy, instead of
That's
meat?
cute.
Mm,
We could do
If you're
that.
thinking it's like appetizing,
Yeah,
Like little bubble gum where you like get out of the pack. Yeah.
I could do that. Anybody has any ideas, throw them at us. If anybody wants to us to talk about other things, we're always saying like, look, what's helpful? What's pub date is helpful? What genres do you want to hear about? Are we not talking about something that you want to hear about? Do you want to hear about more nonfiction? Blah, 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 blah. You just let us know because we live to serve you all. We love you all. And we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us talk about books and meat. I don't know. Oh, Day of Dialogue. So do you want to talk about Day of Dialogue? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One quick thing.
Mm.
Tammy Miller wants to see a photo of my costume afterwards. Yes,
Yeah.
Jennifer, there were teeth on that cover. And
Can you
Jennifer,
show it again, Grace? Can
yeah,
you
I
show that
will.
again?
Jennifer said we're very choosy about the books we read. Choosy,
Nice. Nice.
CHEWSY. That was so good. Okay, let me pull up the cover one more time if I can figure out where my tabs are. I got a new computer today, everyone. Very exciting, but my screen is significantly smaller, so I'm like a little looking to figure out where things are. Okay. Yes. So my favorite things about this
Where are
are
the teeth?
at the bottom.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah. And
Oh, I
you
That's
didn't
a
even
really
see
cool
the teeth.
jacket.
I love the jacket. It kind of reminded me like it's not like a Saltburn story at all. I'm not comping it to that. They're not the same vibe, but the font of the lamb, like that's what it reminded me of.
Mm.
Blood on the leaves, if you did not pick up on that. I just really love this cover. I think it's really beautiful in a kind of like sick way. Anyway, Day of Dialogue.
Day of Dialogue. October 24th. So we have a lot of authors who are appearing. Graham Norton is confirmed. Yippee! And Imani Perry, who's be talking about Black and Blues. Lori Wooliver, who will be talking about care and feeding. She's on a food panel. Alex Astor, who Lainey talked about earlier, Summer in the City. That's going to be a rom-com. Maxim Martineau will be speaking about her book House of Blight on the Romanticy panel. I don't know if this is helpful to all of you, but I'm just going to keep on going. And Edward Underhill, the In-Between Bookstore, perhaps you may have heard of it. He'll be speaking at the Feel Good panel. God. Jennifer Weiner, the Griffin Sisters' Greatest Hits on the family panel. Graham Norton, as I mentioned, his book Frankie, literary fiction, and Jim O'Hare, Welcome to Pawnee. He's going to be speaking on the Hollywood panel. And forgive me, but every time I mention her name, I say it incorrectly. I'm embarrassed to say. Death of the Author, Grace Laney.
Nnedi Okorafor.
Nnedi Okorafor. It's Nnedi. And her last name is spelled Okorafor. Nnedi Okorafor. Thank you. And I'm sorry I'd rather know how to say it than mess it up, because that's disrespectful. Anyway, her book, Death of the Author, that will be on Bibliographic Trends. So we have a lot of authors coming to Dave Dialogue, plus the beautiful booth that Lainey has redesigned, which is amazing. And again, we'll have lots of giveaways and, downloadable e-galleys. So come and talk to us. We'll be there going, hi, who's there? And then hit send, and then somebody will say, I am. It's not in person, but we do reach a lot more people this way, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Any
actually,
questions?
I just had a thought. I had a thought.
What?
Speaking of Griffin Sisters' Greatest Hits, they did a cover reveal. So I
Ooh.
want maybe we'll share that. I think it's a really, really cool cover.
Wonderful idea. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Jennifer came in the office and I was like, my nails, which are still there, match the cover. My nails that are still there. Of course they're still there. I don't know why I said it like that.
Because
Okay.
typically I dip my fingers in acid.
You could have changed your nail color.
That's kind of what I was implying. But thank you, Vicky.
Wait, do you
Yeah.
still have the same color, Grace?
Yeah,
You still
it's
the
the
same
same
nail
color.
polish on?
They're
Okay, so
they're press-ons, so that's my truth.
they are?
Yeah, they're press-ons. I put them on for a wedding and I honestly thought they'd fall off, but it's been about a week and a half and they're still there. So
Okay, so Jennifer Weiner, and thank you, Grace. It's great that you thought to do this. This was just revealed Tuesday, I think.
maybe
I don't
less.
know.
I don't know.
No, they just announced it.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Well,
yes,
it's
yesterday,
beautiful.
whatever. Anyway, that's the jacket. Can you by any chance make it bigger? If not, that's okay.
Is that better?
Yeah. And
I
then
don't
if you
know.
could hold your fingernails up. So Grace got to meet Jennifer Weiner, and
Yeah.
she's like,
I think
hey,
good.
look at
Yeah,
how my
it's a good
fingernails match your
comparison.
book. I
Yeah,
think that's
I
the
think
coolest
it's a good
thing.
comparison.
I love that. Anyway, it's a cool jacket. It's a really neat story about these three sisters and well, two sisters, and how they it's all about the music industry. And we're just so excited to have that book on our list, to have Jennifer Weiner on our list. Is pretty neat.
Yeah. Or just stenciled edges that everyone's cuckoo about.
Yeah.
They look very beautiful.
It gets me. I'm entranced by them, I have to say. I saw them the very first, we talk about sprayed edges all the time. But I saw our very first one at the Association of Rural and Small Libraries, and it was Fire in the Sky, Sophie Jordan. And they have these beautiful, like indigo, I think it was, well, maybe it was a blue color, but it was beautiful on these, I don't know. They got me, I have to say. I was very drawn to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they stand out for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of, we were just, as Lainey said it, it's 2:55. We have a couple minutes left. I don't know if anybody's left listening to us, or if they're like, all right already. But we went to ARSL. What's it stand for?
Oh, Association of Rural and Small Libraries.
First of all, the word rural is hard to say. Ask Chris Connolly. Past Library Love Fest team member Chris Connolly was a wonderful human and still works at Harper. But the one thing he couldn't do was pronounce the word rural. And it is really hard to say. And so the acronym is ARSL. So I call it ARSL, and people, I mean, I'm not the only one who was calling it ARSL, but it's, it's kind of funny. Anyway, it was a great show. It was held in Springfield, Massachusetts, right? And it was really interesting. If it was a really good, small, but a but well attended, like great quality, great questions, great opportunity for us to reach those librarians of these smaller libraries in these smaller regions. And it was an eye opener. It was none of the, we love ALA, we love to bring authors and run around and do all that stuff, but this was more like stay put and have conversations. And it was just so cool. That's the second year we've been at it. And it was really wonderful. Don't you think so, Lainey?
Yeah, that's lovely. And I mean, they learn so much. I think it's a great opportunity to have conversations in depth. And I heard about so many small libraries, and they're one person shows. They do everything. It was wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was really cool. Anyway, I think that's it. I think we've talked about our books. We've talked about ARSL. We've talked about Dave Dialog, and let us and talk to us. Thanks for listening, and seriously do let us know if there's anything in particular you'd love to hear about, or a time frame you'd like to hear about, like pub dates, that sort of stuff. Anything you want to know that's helpful to you, just let us know, because we aim to deliver.
Yeah, and we actually, till the end of the year, went ahead and put in, we're gonna try to do the first Wednesday of every month. So you can go ahead and get everything, you can sign up for the next 2 months. Now, it's on Crowdcast and Facebook, so we'll see you back next month. And we'll
Yeah.
do a
And-
writer's watch later, we'll give that info out.
Yeah, Writers to Watch is going to be a thing that we've picked back up again. So here we are. It's the fall, and we're talking books. We're talking authors. So yay for us, and yay for you
Happy
guys.
October. That's so exciting. It's Halloween month. I'm being very serious though. Like, please send me, like, if you dress up for the library, if you do any cool displays, please email them to me. I would love to see it.
Or
Uh,
tag us.
Yeah. Also, I just thought of something, and I wish I had the photo. Wayne Public Library in Michigan for Banned Books Week had a photo booth set up where it was like a mugshot background, and there it said, "What banned book are you reading?" And you could hold up the like. I'm sorry, I just wanted to call that out. Maybe we can post it on Facebook or something, because I was just really excited, and it just hit me. So sorry. Side note.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll share it on our Facebook.
Okay. All right, and we'll find out about the Graham Norton interview, and we'll do something with that so that you can see it. Hopefully you can. It was done for ALA, but like Lainey said, maybe we can show it. We'll find out. All right. Well, unless there are any other questions, it's 2:59, and I guess we'll say goodbye, but stay tuned for more shenanigans in the near future from the Library Love Fest team.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.